Hello and welcome to this After Effects tutorial, and if you have some favorite textures or other images where you feel you import them all the time in all kinds of projects and it's always so much work, then this tutorial will be for you. So in Automation Blocks, we've got here this tool that is in the category Rigs and Presets, templates to start your own presets. And this suggests that you should probably not just use this tool as is, but customize it. In particular, make it use your textures that you're using all the time. If I run this tool here by default, it's import file as layer, apply preset and blending mode. And the title already says effectively what it's doing. If I run it, it creates a new layer, applies a blending mode to it, overlay in this case, and also a preset. So in this case, it's a nice preset that created a CC reptile effect with some expressions, such that when I scale this layer up or down, you can see I scale it now smaller than the layer is actually than the actual layer size. It will reptile. So if I disable this effect here, you can see it's just not visible here anymore. This is what this particular tool is doing. And now the exciting thing is first that you can now very quickly apply your favorite textures, like in my case is fingerprint texture here, to all kinds of projects. So if I go here to the other one and run it, it has been applied here, and you can see it added some kind of grunge here. Now, again, the same texture with the same transfer mode, etc. Let's try a third one. I really love this texture because it just adds a little bit of noise, so to speak. It makes everything look a little bit less regular. And now the very exciting question is, what do you need to do to make this work with your own textures? And another exciting question that I might also answer now before that already is, where is the layer imported? The cool thing is we've run this script several times now. And if you take a look here at this footage folder that the tool created for us, the fingerprint texture has just been imported one time. So a cool thing about the script is it notices if the image has already been imported, and if so, it doesn't import it a second time, so the project will not be polluted, so to speak. If you want to customize it to use your own textures, you go here in Automation Blocks to the Script tab of the tool. And here you can modify the code now. And the code of this is actually very simple. It's just a single block where you can choose the footage file that you want to import. So just click here to get an open file dialog to pick another one. Let's say from CG Textures, I downloaded this very cool ice texture here, this one. So let's open that. And then you could choose another effect preset if you like. Just click here, you again open file, and then can use your own effects preset. Presets are these things you find here in the effects and presets panel. If you go to browse presets, you can see all the presets that come with After Effects installed. And you can of course also create your own ones using Save Animation presets. So if you want to have some keyframes or some expressions on the layers that you create, you can immediately do this with loading an effects preset. And here you just choose the blending modes that you want to have. Let's keep this on overlay for now. And here, footage, that's the folder into which the file should be imported. So let's get rid here of the fingerprint texture of our elephant and run this tool again. And you can see that this time it now created this ice texture here. And now actually the reptile effect that we have, as in particular if we scale down, it's now more obvious because this texture is not a seamless texture. So you see the borders here. And you can see that the texture has been imported now here into our footage folder. And if you say, okay, this looks nice, but I wanted not to use overlay here, but maybe let's try add, which gives it a way more intensive look. It doesn't look very good in this example here, but if you say you always want to use your texture with add, all you need to do is to change here in your code the overlay to add, and the next time you run the tool, let's run it again, you can see it comes with the blending mode set to add. If you say I don't want to set a blending mode at all, of course you can just set it to normal. But if you say, I don't want to use a preset at all, for example, what you need to do is to disable the preset in the code here. So this is like the user interface, so to speak, of the code with all the things that you should easily be able to change. If you want more details of this code, you can go here. So all of these are just comments explaining how the tool is working. And you can see that this comment says right-click expand block to see or change details. This is where the actual code is hiding. So we go to expand block. And here you can see what the tool is doing. It's first calling the import file block to import our footage file. Then it's creating a new footage layer in the active composition with this footage file. And then it sets the blending mode attribute. And finally, it applies a preset. And if you say, I don't want to apply a preset, you can just right-click here and disable the block, or you delete it completely. And you can do the same here with the blending mode, for example, if you don't want to set a blending mode. And of course, you can also add more things. So if you say, for example, I want to set a particular name for this layer, you could duplicate this set attribute block to set another attribute of the layer. Namely, you want to set its name. So we go here and go to name, and then this name, throw this here in the garbage. This name should say my texture, for example. And now if we run this tool again, run script, you can see now it imported my texture again, this time not using any presets, so there's no reptile on it, with the blending mode normal that we've set here. And it's also given it the name Mike Texture. So as I hopefully convinced you, you can customize this here very deep to create all kinds of tools that import some footage, bring it in your composition, and modify it in all kinds of ways. And once you're happy with your tool, you should go to the Save As here, and then save it in your own library. And I'm canceling this here. But once you did this, the tool will show up here in your user library, and you can use it from this time on very quickly and easily. Okay, there's one last thing that I want to mention here, and this is about embedding the files. So by default, when you save your tool, the texture you have here, so this JPEG file in this case, and the preset file, the FFX file, they are both embedded in the tool itself. This means if you send the tool to a colleague, for example, or share it online with somebody, then you don't have to send or install these files separately. They will be included in the tool, and when you run the tool will make sure that they are accessible on this other machine. This only works for small files. So for preset files, no problems. For a single JPEG, no problem. But if you want to use a movie file, for example, this is not working because this tool is not made to handle gigabytes size files. So files with more than 1 or 2 megabytes should better not be embedded. If you don't want to embed a file, what you need to do is you drag this here to the side. And you can see now behind this, there is a new file picker. This one says embedded file. And this one is a file. And by the way, you find both those blocks also here in the files category. There's a file and there's the embedded file block. And same here, behind this you find a normal file block. And if you now click here to pick a preset, then this file is not embedded in the tools or in the automation block script file itself. And if you use this one instead, it will be embedded. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. I hope I convinced you that this is a very powerful workflow to import your favorite textures really quickly into your After Effects project. This is just one of many, many features, one of many, many tools that Automation Blocks has to offer, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next tutorial.